money, insurance, banking. How do you choose what to go into next? Or is it all instinctual?
It's all instinctual. I mean, it's not it hasn't been pre-planned at all. And I will.
You see an opportunity and just go.
Yeah, I mean, with trains, just a fun story. The British Rail had run Britain's train networks forever, and I think somebody said to me, I wonder whether the head of British Rail would allow a private company onto its network. So we had this guy over who ran British Rail to my house in Holland Park, and he was very charming and pleasant, and said maybe he'll consider it and so on. Anyway, as he left the door, somehow somebody had left the loudspeaker that broadcast over the house on, and as he was walking out, he went, "I'm not going to let that fucker Branson get his hands on my train sets." so
and that made you even more determined?
And so we went to the government and managed to persuade them to let us take a chunk of Britain's railway network at the time.
So what's the secret sauce that makes Virgin companies succeed?
A company is simply a group of people. So if we had another cruise ship alongside our cruise ship in Santorini yesterday, and I remember thinking, I mean, both cruise ships look, relatively similar. I think ours is a bit more sexy than theirs, but anyway, that's by the way. But it's the team of people on board. We've got the 1,300 people who work on board that cruise ship. That's what makes it different, and their belief in the company, their belief that they're being given the tools to deliver. When people come on board, they're not going to be complaining because the restaurants are so good and all the little details are thought about, so they're proud of what they're doing, and I think that ricochets back onto the customer and vice versa.
Who's the most inspiring person that you've met, of all the people you've met in your life? Are there any that stand out?
I think Archbishop Tutu would be the most inspiring person in that he had an incredible sense of humour. He always had a twinkle in his eye. His whole life was lived by saying that, very much by looking for the best in other people. Everything was based on forgiveness.
Can Virgin survive without you?
So the headlines used to be, Branson's doing this and Branson's doing that, and that was fine in the early days, just to try to get Virgin on the map. Fortunately, about 30 years ago, we managed to swing it from Branson this and Branson that to Virgin this and Virgin that, and so now there will be Virgin companies in this world that people will not necessarily immediately think of Richard Branson anymore. So I think that the Virgin Australia stands on its own 2 feet. Virgin Bank in Australia stands on its own 2 feet. Virgin Active stands on its own 2 feet. It is as the Virgin brand is now much more synonymous with the product than myself. But I was maybe useful once.
And you're very much conscious of that.
Yeah.
Best bit of advice you've ever received?
The best bit of advice I ever received, I didn't realise was the best bit of advice at the time, and that was my mum and dad. If we ever said ill about anybody, they would send us to the mirror and make us stand in front of the mirror for 10 minutes, and because they just said it reflected so badly on us, and it taught us very quickly never to tell ill about anybody, and if anybody's gossiping about people, I'll quietly walk away because I just feel uncomfortable about it. And I think as a leader, that's absolutely critical, because if you say ill about somebody, and it gets back to that person, because you're the leader, the effect on that person will be magnified 10 times over, and it may just be a passing comment.
So your parents wouldn't send you to the naughty corner, they'd send you to the mirror.
They sent
It's
us to the mirror.
incredible.
Yeah.
What a lesson, what a great life lesson that was.
No, it was.